Good evening, everyone. This is your host, Reverend Farias, your Reverend of Metaphysics. I thank you for tuning in, and I apologize, but I have scripted today's session because I'm still getting the hang of it, and I wanted to deliver a clear, complete message without the stumbling. So here we go. I previously mentioned how I was fascinated with metaphysics, but I didn't do a good job of explaining why. So I'm going to share with you a story that does a pretty good job of doing just that. Metaphysics has taught me something powerful. You are not just a body trying to survive, you are a consciousness learning to awaken. The mind, body, and spirit are not separate, they are one living equation. Your mind creates the thoughts, your body responds to the energy, and your spirit guides the direction. When even one of these is out of balance, your life feels disconnected. But when all three are aligned, you begin to see signs, synchronicities, and divine timing. Life becomes a dialogue between you and the universe. This is why metaphysics speaks to me. Because once you understand the relationship between your inner world and your outer world, you gain the ability to reshape your reality from the inside out. I remember one day back when I was living in Cali, California, south of Hawthorne, searching for work as an electrical apprentice. By that time, I had spent years studying spiritualism and the supernatural laws of manifestation. I didn't just believe these principles were real, I felt an intuitive sting inside signaling for me to figure it out and make it work. So there I was, driving around looking for work, reflecting on the law of attraction, wondering how the mind actually shapes reality. A few miles from my home, I noticed a new commercial plaza under construction. A couple of building shells were already standing, and I realized this was a perfect opportunity to practice intentional manifestation, to test the techniques I had been studying for so long. I parked across the street. With my eyes open, I studied one building in detail, imagining the sounds, the movements, the feelings of working there. Then I closed my eyes and I began to imagine. I saw myself as an electrician on the structure, climbing ladders, pulling wire, walking with my tool bags, working beside other electricians. I didn't just see it, I felt it, the energy, the presence, the reality of being there. For 15 minutes, I lived inside the vision. Then I left and continued my day. Later that afternoon, I found myself inside another staffing agency filling out paperwork when suddenly I received a call. One of the agencies I had previously applied with wanted me to come in immediately. So I left and I drove for 45 minutes, interviewed. By the time I walked out, I had secured a job starting the following day. I was excited, grateful, ready. Later that day, I looked up the job site address and noticed it was close to my home. That alone felt like a sweet blessing. I said to myself, things keep getting better, nice. But the real shocker didn't hit me until the next morning when I pulled into the job site. My spirit froze. It was the exact same building I had parked across the street from yesterday. The same building I had been imagining myself working on. The same building I had used as an example for applying my mind, body, and spirit techniques. In that moment, I whispered to myself, it worked. It really worked. That experience revealed the deep connection between my inner world and the physical world. It changed my perception of how we attract opportunity or struggle into our lives. It ignited a new level of confidence, not just in myself, but in the truth that our thoughts, our energy, and our spiritual alignment shape our reality. When your mind, body, and spirit align, life stops being random. It becomes responsive. It becomes a dialogue between you and the universe. And this is why metaphysics speaks to me. Because once you understand the relationship between your thoughts, your energy, and the spiritual laws that govern this reality, you gain the ability to reshape your world from the inside out. After that day, I continued practicing manifestation throughout my electrical career. And while the results were good, they were small because my expectations were small. I was only aiming for more work, so that's all I ever received. My real breakthrough didn't happen until I moved from California to Arizona. A friend invited me to work on an industrial project with a new company. I accepted knowing it would elevate my skills and my resume. The work was good until I began dealing with people whose attitude towards me were hostile, negative, and unnecessarily harsh. That toxic energy threw off everything I had learned about alignment. That energy threw a wrench into everything I had been practicing. I had finally saved some money, finally set goals, finally created momentum. Then suddenly, I was unjustly laid off. This news was disappointing, frustrating, and confusing, but I refused to let negativity or doubt seep into my mind. I had already seen too many blessings, synchronicities, and miracles turn back now. So I doubled down. I put faith to the test. I put my faith to the test. I made a bold decision. I would stop searching for work and live off my savings until they ran out. And only then would I look for work again. When I shared my risky decisions with others, I was met with criticism, disbelief, and even concern. But I knew they couldn't understand my faith or the intention behind my experiment. So I listened, but didn't absorb. I took their reaction with ease and understanding. Months passed, and eventually the day came when I was down to the last few dollars. The moment of truth. Time to find work. I asked myself, where do I even start? I didn't know the city. I didn't know the companies. I didn't know the industrial districts. That's when I felt a subtle whisper inside. It was my intuition. And it said, drive. So I didn't push back. I accepted. I got into my car with no direction, no plan, no idea where I was going, and drove. But then I asked again, silently, where am I supposed to go? That same inner voice, my intuition, said, just drive. So I did. After some time, a sign caught my eye. Construction staffing agency. Perfect, I thought. Even if I didn't know the city, they would. I walked in, filled out the application, and took their electrical assessment test. A few minutes later, they called me to the front. The woman looked at my test, looked at me, and said, so how long have you been working as a journeyman? Inside, I froze. I got nervous. They gave me the wrong test, and I had scored unusually high. I didn't want to reveal my shock, but I knew, and I didn't know how to respond professionally. I stumbled and simply said I had been working as a journeyman for a little while. Then she explained, electricians usually don't score this high on this test, but you did. We're going to send you out right away. And from that day forward, my skills and work ethic kept me consistently employed with multiple clients through this agency. A year later, I finally found the company I wanted to commit to. And that moment taught me something deeper than manifestation. It taught me that when your mind, body, and spirit align, life stops being random. It becomes responsive. It becomes a dialogue between you and the universe. Now, I'm going to bring this session to an end. But trust me, the story continues, and so do the miracles, the lessons, and the results. I thank you for joining me today on this journey of faith, alignment, and awakening. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Faith in Action. I am your host, Reverend Farias, wishing you peace, love, blessings, and prosperity to you and everything you are becoming.